us in the six, shopping new clothes and kicks. You and me taking flicks, making hits, stages they receive you on. Still can't believe you're gone. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you still living your life after death.
Every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you. Thinking of the day when you went away.
Hey guys, so I originally wrote the outline to this story probably about 3 weeks ago. But what happened was I finished writing it. I planned to do the video. My fiance went to go see the Christmas lights here in town. I'm not even sure how to word this because it's just so crazy. But my mom texted me that night and she let me know that something bad had happened. I don't want to go too much into detail because there's a lot of inconsistencies with this situation, but my mom's fiance's daughter was murdered by her own brother. It's been really hard on Robert, my mom's fiance, and his family, and I didn't personally know Marisol too much, but I did see her for the holidays, and you know, just sometimes when she was over at Robert's house. Quiet person who always had a genuine smile. She was the type of person that you would look at and think you could probably never get that person mad. But anyways, as you can imagine, that's the reason why it took me a while to film again. I actually wanted nothing to do with true crime for about a couple weeks. I didn't want to look at any videos. Just after hearing the details of what had happened, I didn't want to hear about it again. But I reflected and kind of brought myself up. The ugly reality about losing somebody that you love in any situation, a tragedy, an accident, is that time keeps moving. So laying in bed, being sad, doing nothing day after day is just going to be a waste of time. You're losing another day to live. The person that you lost doesn't get to do that anymore. Let them live through you, because I promise you, when you're doing whatever you're doing and you're thinking about them, they're right there next to you. So that's why I decided to get off my butt and stop feeling sorry for myself and start doing what I need to do. And I'm not saying I realized that the first day either. I let myself be sad for one day, and I told myself that I can't let sad situations in any type of my life affect me negatively. So anyways, I'm here now. I still want to make these videos. I actually enjoy making these videos. Yeah, it's just a fun process. I like being able to make something and then see the end result. I don't know. I just want to make these videos because I have to also reflect. As I was thinking if I want to do these videos, I had to think like, why do I make these videos? Why did I start in the first place? And one of the reasons, like I said, is because I like creating things. I like doing things from start to finish and seeing the end result. But I also wanted to create these videos because I want everybody to be aware of the situations that can happen, and to remind everybody that if you see something, speak up. Please keep yourself safe, especially, I mean, I don't mean to be like sexist, but especially women, keep yourself safe. Keep a weapon on you. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I keep a weapon on me at all times. Whether if it's pepper spray or like a little knife. Yeah, I mean, you never know. You can't ever be too careful nowadays to protect yourself. Fortunately, stuff like this happens every day. And again, I just want to remind everybody to be safe, speak up if you see something, and just always be mindful of the things that you're doing. So anyways, I appreciate everybody who's still here, whoever's still watching my videos. I just do these for fun, and yeah, so let's get into it and talk about today's video. It was a chilly night in downtown Denver on March 31st, 2011. Kenia went to a nightclub with a group of friends that she did not hang out with all the time. She actually was just catching a ride with them to meet up with her best friend at the club called Lavish. But when she got there, the bouncers saw the fake IDs and told them to leave. She went to the 24K lounge in downtown Denver. She got in, she was getting really drunk and having a really good time. She started dancing with some guy. I'm assuming because she's not as close with this group of friends, they were gonna give her some space. Anyways, Kenia went to the bathroom and left all her stuff with her friends, the group of people that she went with, but never returned. Turns out she was actually kicked out after staff noticed that she was intoxicated. The girls that she came with just assumed that she took off with the dude that she was dancing with. Kenia was without her phone, her keys, her purse in the middle of downtown Denver. Not sure if you've ever been, but I hate going to downtown Denver. I only like going for like major events for games and stuff, but other than that, it's terrible walking down there nowadays. There's just like a lot of homeless people hanging around, and I feel like it's gotten worse over the years. Nevertheless, being a 19-year-old girl alone with no phone, drunk, possibly drugged, that's not good at all. If you're this age, please don't let any of your friends be alone while under the influence. It's not fair to anybody. Next day, none of Kenia's friends or family have heard from her. Not even her boyfriend, Lewis, who lived with her. Lewis called Kenia's sister, Kim, and asked if she's heard from Kenia because she had not returned home. Kim had told her stepdad, and he knew something was not right. Tony and Maria, Kenia's parents, went to work right away trying to get a hold of Kenia, and her usual group of friends that she hangs out with stated that they weren't with her that night. She was actually with a different group of friends that she usually doesn't hang out with, and that kind of worried them. When they finally got a hold of the group of friends that she actually hung out with, they were kind of reluctant to tell them what actually went down because they were only 19, they were using fake IDs, and they didn't want to just straight up be like, you know, this is what we did, because they didn't know where she was at. So when they finally decided to say everything that went down that night, they stated that the last time they had seen her was at around 12. She left to use the restroom and never returned. She left her purse, her phone behind, and at this point, the parents knew something was seriously wrong because she would never leave those types of things. Tony immediately called the police to report her missing, but because she was only 19 years old, they stated that they could not file a report until 72 hours. Tony literally said, "Fuck Greeley PD." Sorry, I'm just so used to doing that. Tony literally said, "Fuck Denver PD, I'll find her." When they started looking through her phone for evidence, they noticed a text message from an unknown number. The text message stated, "Hey, this is Travis, the guy who gave you a ride last night. White creepy van. Smiley face. Did you get home okay?" I don't know about you, but when I first heard about this case, I was like, what the fuck? Gross. Like, why would you even, like, just... You already got a white creepy van, and then you just gotta make it more obvious that you got a white creepy van? That was weird. But this is the first break that the family had to Kenia. Naturally, Tony called the number, but it kept going to voicemail. He kept calling because he had a strong feeling that out of all the contacts in her phone, out of all the messages that she had that night, this is the person he needs to talk to. He said he called that number about 20 times, still no answer. To Tony's surprise, on April 2nd, the day after she went missing, Travis finally answers. Travis was 30 years old at this time. He worked at a bakery and sold gluten-free treats. He seemed like an overall well-rounded man. When Tony asked Travis how he knew Kenia, he said he'd seen Kenia wandering outside and talking to a homeless man. He offered a ride as she explained that she was looking for her vehicle. Travis agreed to take her where she needed to go, but stopped at a gas station first. There, he stated, Kenia started talking to some other dude in Spanish, linked arms with him, said deuces, I found a new man, so Travis left. Well, he said something like that. That's pretty much what he said. He said that she started talking Spanish to some dude, linked arms with him, and dipped. Without having the police's support, Tony took this into his own hands and hit up Travis again and was like, "Yo, can you tell me exactly what happened again?" When Tony asked, "Where did this take place again?" Travis asked if he would like to meet him at the gas station, the one that he was talking about. Tony said, "Hell yeah, I'll see you in 10 minutes, grabbed his gun, and was ready to roll. That's just actually crazy because that's really similar to what happened to us this past month. But anyways. So he said, "I'll see you in 10, grabbed his gun, and was ready to roll. Kenia's mom was actually scared for Travis. So she called to the police to let them know that shit's about to go down and that they need to handle it before her man does. I would have definitely had to do the same thing, because if anybody pissed off Omar in that same way of messing with his family, I would probably have to call the cops too. Just saying. Anyways, the police shows up right as Tony shows up. They check the situation and then they allow Tony to ask Travis some questions. They sit back to make sure nothing goes south. Tony said that he could feel it in his bones after shaking that man's hand. No shakiness, no quiver. He knew that he was facing the man that had last seen Kenia. After pleading with police, they finally look into Travis's van. They noticed a strong smell of bleach. They described it as the van being drenched in bleach. After 72 hours, they finally launched an investigation. Her face was plastered all over the place, hoping to get any leads. There was a few surveillance released of her, and it appears that she was extremely intoxicated. Her father even stated she appeared to be drunk. Now, could you imagine a 19-year-old drunk, possibly drugged, without her keys, her phone, or wallet in the middle of downtown Denver? Again, I highly stress that if you're at this age and you're going to be going to clubs, please do not leave any girl behind like this. Anyway, please also get a phone call from Travis's manager stating she's seen something odd in the surveillance video. You can see Travis bringing in a cooler from the back of the van not too long after the video cuts off. When they go check the freezer, the cooler's no longer there, but they find burnt debris and a bullet. Since they had no hard evidence, they had to let him go. The next day, Travis goes and does an interview, and it's very telling. I don't know why these people who do murders like this go and do a dumbass videos of them just making them look even worse.
I mean, it's been 2 weeks, nobody's heard from her. There's been no trace of her. Like, it's surreal. I don't even know what to think of it.
Since you're a person of interest, let me ask you this. Did you do something with her?
No.
Did you kidnap her?
No.
Did you sexually assault her?
I did not.
Did you murder her?
I did not. No. No, and having that on you, having that energy on you is very stressful. Man, I'm sorry that I was indifferent, that I didn't think anything. I didn't think anything. I didn't think she was gonna disappear. I could have walked with them. I could have been like, no, I'm gonna take you home, and then I could have intervened more, and not just said okay, and gone home, what's her name? Kenia, yeah.
Did you murder her?
After the interview, he flees to Texas and I believe was headed towards Mexico. But there was a warrant out for his arrest that was unrelated. I think his ex-girlfriend originally reported her vehicle stolen, but she dropped the charges, and again, without having any hard evidence with his involvement with Kenya, they had to let him go. After they let him go, he moved back to his hometown. Guess where? Fort Collins. So, whatever's going on in Travis's sick head, it wasn't enough for him. And he attacked again in Fort Collins. Lydia Tillman is a native in Colorado. She gave up an opportunity in Spain to help take care of her dad, who was just diagnosed with cancer. She was walking back home on July 5th after watching the 4th of July fireworks in 2011. The stranger was following home. She stated that he pushed her inside, brutally raped her, and beat her. He attempted to kill her, drench her body with bleach, and set the house on fire, and the body on fire. Well, he messed with the wrong bitch. Lydia didn't want to die right away. That's my mom's name. Said, no freaking way, I am not going out like this. Her apartment was set on fire. She literally threw herself out the second-story window. Her neighbors noticed the fire and tried seeing if anybody was inside the home, but did not see anything. It wasn't until Jacqueline, the detective who was assigned to the case, who arrived on scene, found Lydia still alive. She stated that Lydia was severely beat and naked, but she stood up and ran to the ambulance. Could you imagine, like, going through all that, being raped, being beat, getting set on, being drenched in bleach, getting set on fire, losing consciousness, and then waking up, falling out of the second story window, and then just booking it to the ambulance? Like, or even just to have seen that, like, to see somebody, like, you probably think is almost near death, and then they just start running. Like, that would have been crazy. I'm sure she was just desperate for help, but I'm kind of curious about how much she actually knew what was going on, or was it, like, instinct? You know what I mean? Like, was she all there, or was it just, like, her body, like, in flight mode? Shortly after that, she had a massive stroke, and it took away all of her normal functions, such as eating, moving, thinking, speaking. She was put in an induced coma, so she was unable to answer some of the questions that the detectives had. Jacqueline, the one who was assigned to her case, got a hold of Denver investigators to give them a heads up on what's going on, to maybe connect similar crimes. As soon as they heard bleach, they knew that it could be Travis. They started looking for more evidence. It was tough, but they managed to find some DNA under Lydia's nails. I can't remember which true crime YouTuber had said this, but if you're being attacked, I think it was Bailey Sarian actually, dig the shit out of the fucking person's skin so that if they do unfortunately kill you, they'll find them with the skin that you got under your nails. So they start surveillancing him. As they were following him around, they noticed that he already started preying on his next victim. They tried distracting him. They asked him his name. He gave a fake name, and though it was a small thing, they actually arrest him because they know he's a threat. I mean, obviously he was ready to attack his third person. Luckily, they do get the DNA results, and it was a match. So what had happened was they got the DNA under Lydia's fingernails, and then they started surveillancing him. But during this time, it took a little while to get the results back to see if it is a match. So as they were surveillancing him, they already seen him looking at his next victim, like he was following around some drunk girl in downtown Fort Collins. So he gave a fake name. They're like, whatever, we're gonna arrest this guy for giving a fake name because we're pretty sure this is the guy. And sure enough, when they arrest him, they got the results, and it was him. Kenia's body. Travis wasn't gonna give him that easy. And I hate this part because I feel like rapists do not get charged enough. I feel like, honestly, when somebody rapes somebody, it should be charged as a crime of murder because you are taking away somebody's life. And not only that, but a person who commits a crime like rape, they are most likely to commit a crime again. And I just don't know why the punishments aren't harsher. But anyways, he stated that if they do not label or charge him as a sex offender, he will show where the body is. Wanting it to just all end, and wanting to give a proper burial for Kenia families agree. I guess outside looking in, I could kind of see why the family would decide to just want to end things, because going to court and having to relive everything, having to listen to the details, I wouldn't want to do it all the time. It's hard, and you have to do it for hours, and you have to keep doing it, and just as you're trying to cope with it outside of court, you have to go back to court and relive it again. So I can understand why they just kind of wanted to be like, okay, whatever, and get the body and do the proper burial for her, so that they can have her home and have that kind of closure. After getting her body, they go back and question him. He finally confesses. After picking up Kenia, she passed out. He tried assaulting her, and she confronts him. In the middle of it, during the struggle, he strangled her, put her body in the cooler, takes her to his work, unplugs the camera, takes off all her clothes and the evidence, and burns it. Cleans her body with each, put her in the back of the van, and buries her in Keensburg. Lydia, who was close to death, carried on. She even went on to say that she forgave Travis and doesn't let this affect her. Lydia became an activist upon her experience, and even became a yoga teacher. She also started teaching self-defense classes. If I decide to do any self-defense classes, I'm going to do it with her. Kenia is still running the Kenia Monnier Foundation, so if you want to check that out, I will have that link down below. I will also have the amazing interview of Lydia Tillman. But anyways, yeah, this one was a crazy one. I couldn't believe it happened in Fort Collins because I live so close. And in Denver, like, I'm there all the time, and for it to happen in both places, like, that's just creepy. That's too close to home for me. Let me know what you guys think. I do have another video already scripted, so I'll be doing that soon. I just kind of wanted to do this before the New Year's. And yeah, thank you guys again, and I'll see you for the next one. Oops. My hair has been messy this whole time. That is not cute, Veronica.